This is Margaret Lynch. Welcome to the training. I just want to welcome you all to this call and to this amazing space that we want to create for you tonight. And your hosts are myself, this is Margaret Lynch, and Alan Davidson. So I want to just start out by welcoming everyone to the call and thank you for being here with us to share this space because we have so much we want to share with you. So I wanted to start out by just introducing Alan Davidson, who is on this call with me, just so you know who is here at the helm and really helping me share this information. Alan is one of my closest friends, and he is a top product launch manager who works with visionaries in the personal development field, and he has an incredible background in energy, polarity therapy, massage therapy, and Alan is an award-winning author of the book called Body Brilliance, Mastering Your 5 Vital Intelligences. And so Alan is here to help me bring you as much content in learning and transformation as possible today, and he's going to help me on this call. So welcome, Alan.
Thank you so much, Margaret. It's such a pleasure and privilege to be with you and to be with everybody that's listening. Thank you so much. So it's my opportunity just to say how Margaret has impacted my life. And before I do the formal introduction to the fabulous Margaret Lynch, I just want to tell you, I'm very successful in my world and in my field. And I've been a body worker and an energy worker for 20-plus years. And in my very first conversation with Margaret, she told me things about the chakras that I had not heard before. And I've been teaching chakra work for at least a dozen years myself. And it just blew my mind, the doors that opened up to me. And it really helped me understand why I was having some of the financial challenges, because I'm one of the smartest people in the room, very dedicated, hardworking, and yet I wasn't always seeing the success that I wanted. And I met Margaret right after sort of the economic downturn, and because of some very poor investments and trusting a person that wasn't a good person to trust and some money management skills of my own, I found myself almost in $250,000 in debt. So it's $250,000 in debt. Now, I happen to believe in karma and taking responsibility for my own choices and actions, so bankruptcy was not an option for me. And so when I met Margaret, it was like God had given me an answer to my prayers. And I started doing the work in the 7 levels of wealth manifestation and working with the chakras and the limiting vows that were found there. And I'm here to tell you, in just a few years after meeting Margaret, I've paid off half of that debt. And also I started a new business, even in spite of the economic downturn, and my CPA just told me that this past year I had the best financial year that I've ever had in my entire life. And I credit all of that with the deep, deep healing that Margaret opened up for me, to helping me completely shift my mindset, clear my energy field, clear the limiting vows at the chakras. And not only did I have this amazing transformation in my own life, but she really has become just such a dear, dear friend and a teacher and an inspiration. So it's a pleasure to now have the opportunity to introduce Margaret to you. Margaret is just an amazing coach and visionary and healer and teacher. She is considered one of the preeminent experts in the world on emotional freedom technique, or EFT. And you'll find just in the next few minutes she is passionate about waking people up, how to stand more alive in their own life, more powerfully in their own power, and to have the impact in the world that I think all of us feel destined to make, but because of the limiting vows, we don't have the courage or the energy or the cash to stand up and say, hey, I really am ready to make a difference. And Margaret wakes all of that up in each and every one of us. Her new book, Tapping into Wealth, is just coming out. And, it shows the power and importance of this work, that a major publisher in New York stepped up and said, Margaret, I believe in you. I'm willing to give you a fabulous advance on this book because we want to bring it. It's the cutting-edge technology for healing this cash crisis in the world, and so they signed her up, and the book is coming out. She's also the author and creator of The Secret of Intentional Wealth and Tapping for Money boot camps, and her most successful, her flagship creation is the 7 Levels of Wealth Manifestation. And it's a unique blend of tapping with the groundbreaking teachings of the chakras from her life partner, Mr. Reese Thomas. Margaret draws on her rich experiential and educational background to bring everything back to earth so that it's practical and useful and that you have a specific and measurable transformation in your life. It's my pleasure and my privilege to introduce all of you to the fabulous Margaret Lynch.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you so much. And I'm going to have to go back and change this slide and add some of your new credentials on here. That is absolutely amazing to hear what you have done in the last couple of years. It is amazing. So here's another picture of Alan and I hamming it up at my live event. You can tell there's a lot of affection there between Alan and I. We are genuinely the very best of friends. And our intention for this experience with you in this time that we're going to share together, because it truly is, we call it a training, but it really is going to be an experience for you, is we want to show you how to shift fast for fast results. You know, Alan mentioned that I teach things in a way that apply them so that we get a fast change and a measurable change, and that really comes from my engineering background. I like to see results. So we are going to connect you to your new win-win wealth goal. We are going to show you how to clear vows, your specific vows that you're going to be tuning into that are really blocking your wealth and your full power. And we want to show you how to activate your bigger wealth manifesting energy in this amazing process that we're going to be doing today. So before we get started, you know, we were both talking about this before. We want to share so much content, and Alan's from Texas, but I'm from Massachusetts, and so I talk really quickly. So get a pen and a paper because you're going to want to take notes, and I recommend that you remove all distractions. You know, we really want it to feel like you've come to an event and you're sitting in a ballroom and you've just got your notebook and your ears are open and you're just ready to learn and take notes, and see if you can really make the decision to remove some of the distractions, our cell phone and our iPods and email and all of that stuff which distract us, because I don't want you to miss anything. I'm going to be giving you as much information as possible, as much content as possible, so you can walk away at the end of this experience and really know the work that you need to do and really know how to start to make a huge difference in your wealth. And so, you know, definitely remove the distractions because I don't want you to miss anything. And we also recommend you stay on till the end because we are going to be doing a process at the end that is really going to connect everybody who's listening at the same time and really bring up an amazing energy of manifestation that's just going to send a shockwave out to the universe. You are absolutely going to love it, and I think you're going to be surprised at how you're feeling just being in that visualization. And so, you know, we're also thinking about, you know, who is this for? And I think you even heard in Alan's story, you know, you may have identified a little bit, because I certainly do. You know, this is for you if you are a good, heart-centered, well-intentioned person and find that you have gifts to give. You know, maybe you've got a level of education or training or something that you're awesome at, and you are willing to give that gift. We often find that the people that we come across, when they give their gift, whatever it is they do for a product or service or even in a company, that they have this beautiful intention in their heart. But even with all the giving and the doing and the amazingness that you have, that somehow there is this pain and drain in your wealth, in your income, and that there just you know, isn't enough to actually feel wealthy and to go beyond, you know, living 1 or 2 months away from what could possibly be catastrophe. And so this is really for you. If you're, you know, you've come to a crossroads and you're knowing, wow, things that I've been doing over and over just aren't working and I'm ready to do something new, because I'm telling you that this is going to be out of the box, what we're going to be doing in this experience. And you need to be a person who's like, I am ready for the new road, something out of the box, maybe something out of my comfort zone, because I really do want a different result. And that resonates for me, you know, in my story, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as well. So, you know, I like to just say how I made my quantum leap. And here's just a little collection of pictures. That's my daughter there, and that's when she was in 8th grade. Can you even imagine? I did not look like that in 8th grade. I had huge Coke bottle glasses and a Dorothy Hamill haircut, and I did not look anything like that. So there's my daughter. You can see a picture of a lot of children. I have 7 brothers and sisters. And in Massachusetts, we call that Irish Catholic. It's part of our religion to have such big families. And so that's an old picture. My daughter was like 7 there. There's even more grandchildren. So I'm surrounded by love and by amazing family all the time. As a matter of fact, 2 of my sisters live on the same street as me. It's unbelievable. There's a picture there at one of my live events. You see me there, and then you also see in the bottom middle some people doing something very strange. They're tapping on their face, and you're going to learn a lot more about that as well. And then you see a little picture there of my honey and I. That is Reese Thomas. He is my partner and my soulmate, and you'll be hearing about him a little bit more too, and the impact that he's had on my work. So I like to say that how I made my quantum leap, it started when I was still in corporate America. I was an engineer, and I had been doing sales, you know, the company car, the Ford Taurus, driving around New England, calling on customers. And, you know, Wayne Dyer really nuked my career. I saw him on TV, on public television, and he just inspired me. It was, you know, the power of intention, and it blew me away. I had this instant full-body moment of knowing that I was meant to do something bigger, to have more meaning, to make a bigger impact, that somehow the gifts that I had to give were meant to help people in a bigger way than just driving around and knocking on doors to sell stuff. And with that big inspiration, I went down a whole new road. And I know there's a lot of you listening who have done this as well. Maybe you've already left a career behind, or you want to, and you're doing this part-time. But I went into what I call the training phase, and I know some of you can relate, where I delved into things like hypnotherapy and law of attraction, and I studied and I learned and I studied and I learned, and then I'd certify. And then I delve back into more, study and learn and study and learn, and then certify. And I got all these certifications. I call it the rinse and repeat. And I was really ready to just step into this whole new life and go for this crazy, big, inspired vision, dream that Wayne Dyer triggered in me. Because when I closed my eyes, I saw something big. I saw myself having an impact on people in a much bigger way and earning a fabulous income from it. And so, you know, everything was just coming up roses for me when I got all of that training done. And as I say, ready, set, go was actually ready, set, no. Because as I got to the point where I really had to start building a business and getting out there, I realized I was going to have to start opening my mouth and telling people what I was really doing and what my goal really was. And that was the moment that I realized that that big dream that I have had, that big vision that Wayne Dyer inspired, that I was too afraid and embarrassed to actually tell people about that. That it was like my programming spoke inside of me. I realized when I looked at it, like in the light of day, in front of other people, I'd secretly think, I don't have the personal power for that. I can't become that person. What am I, crazy? And I definitely knew I couldn't tell anyone my real vision, my real dream, the income that I expected to make, the stages I expected to be on, the impact. And you know what? I couldn't even tell it to myself because my inner critic wouldn't stand for it. So what happened next was I scaled down the vision. And I say that that's also known as remaking old choices. And what I did was I developed a more appropriate plan. I scaled everything back. I pulled all that big energy in. I took that big vision. I squeezed it down to something that would be more appropriate and more acceptable and not as embarrassing or make me seem weird or selfish or full of myself. And that was the plan, the goal, the vision that I spoke the truth of, that I asked the universe to help me manifest, that I put on my vision board, that I spent all of my energy saying, this is what I want. And it was so much smaller and, again, more appropriate and not troubling to anybody. And so what happens when we set a plan like that? You manifest the match. And that's exactly what I did. I manifested a whole business and amount of income that was matching the new scaled down, less energy, appropriate plan. It was, I call it the road to medium. And it was kind of like I stayed the old me, the smaller me, the unsure me, and I just tried to go in what I thought was a new direction, but it was really the road to medium. That's not a road to be on. And then a funny thing happens. You know, you have to live with your choices. You have to live with your choices. And so a couple of things came from living with my choices. Because, again, my life started to manifest around what I had intended. It was amazing to make a difference because I learned all about law of attraction, and I learned about hypnotherapy and the unconscious mind and this tool called tapping or emotional freedom technique. And I started working with lots and lots of people, and it really was amazing to see the difference that I could make in people's lives. But I was incredibly surprised and disappointed to find that the soul deep fulfillment that I thought I was going to have when I left corporate America and did this whole new thing, following my passion and helping people, it just wasn't there. And, you know, I was drained at the end of the day. It felt like a struggle. And it really, I woke up one day and I said, it just feels like I have a different day job. Again, the same old me in a slightly new direction, but really I created a new day job. And the tipping point, of course, was that there was so much pain and drain in my money. I was a single mom at the time. My daughter was young, and I was literally spending all the money that I had saved as a single mom, you know, for security. I was living on that money, and it was running out. And, you know, there's a point when you look at something like this and you go, I thought I was living my dream, and it's going to bankrupt me. And that was a really big wake-up call for me because it just, it didn't feel right. It didn't sit with me right. And so I tried a lot of things. I tried being positive and being more positive and being really positive. And then I tried using this tool called tapping and going deeper and more specific into specific blocks I had around money. I knew there must be something specific going on. And then I tried some more things, which were actually the same things. I tried being positive and being positive and being positive. And then I tried tapping even deeper and really looking at all the specific ways that I was blocking money and the issues I had and my clients were having. And I had some success, but nothing really big changed because what was going on was my hidden vows were running the show. And I'm going to tell you really more about these vows in a little bit. They were really limiting me and my income and my mission. And it was really happening from my blind spot. Because the funny thing is, here I am using this really out-of-the-box, dare I say, woo-woo tool of tapping. And so thinking, wow, I am really doing some great work here, and this is way out of my comfort zone. But it actually wasn't. I wasn't really going out of the comfort zone of staying positive and doing some tapping to clear whatever I felt was up in the moment. But something was in my blind spot, and I had to look there. And I probably never would if I hadn't bumped into this amazing, very handsome man at an all-women's event. Of course, he was the only man at an all-women's event. He was a speaker there where I was also speaking. And his name is Rhys Thomas. He's the founder and the director of the Rhys Thomas Institute of Energy Medicine. And what do you know? We started dating. And while we're dating, he's teaching me about the chakras. And I was like, the what now? I thought this tapping thing I did was kind of woo-woo, and I was like, chakras, what? That's really woo-woo, way out of my comfort zone. And that was actually the key, was that it actually was something different, something out of my comfort zone, a fork in the road to go to a whole new direction that actually made me a little bit nervous and uncomfortable. You know, imagine that you're dating someone, you're already nervous and uncomfortable, and now I'm learning about the chakras and the vows and what's really blocking me that's in my blind spot, and that's making me uncomfortable. So it was kind of an interesting time, but his teachings of the chakras, and this is, I think, where, Alan, you were mentioning that you had been teaching the chakras for a long time and had never heard the chakras taught the way Rhys teaches the chakras and teaches the chakra vows. And so in addition to finding the love of my life, all of my inner work took a quantum leap. I developed a radical approach to challenging wealth vows. And I say challenging because I was so sick of my money situation. And my vision for what was possible for me grew. It grew back to my original vision. And my energy, my drive, my courage to stand up and go for what I really wanted absolutely soared. And, you know, my results changed. And so this is really where the rubber hits the road, right? In 2010, that same year, I quadrupled my income and I grew my subscribers to 55,000 people subscribing to my newsletter, which is amazing. And it felt amazing. And in 2011, the next year, I grew my business to just under $1 million, and I grew my subscribers to over 140,000. And today I have 5 branded products selling day and night. Penguin Books is publishing my brand new book, Tapping into Wealth, because they wanted to be part of the first ones bringing out this information around money. And, you know, I tell you this, you know, not to brag about what I've been able to achieve, but to really tell you that this is pretty recent. Like, I'm putting the dates here. This is recent. Like, this is possible for you when you radically shift. You know, even I was doing lots of personal development work, but when you find the key that shifts something so deep, which we do when we do chakra work, things can shift incredibly fast, and that is what happened. So I want you to just breathe and let in that what's happened to me, I was an engineer driving around in a Ford Taurus, can happen to you. It is absolutely possible. And, you know, now, of course, it is my passion to teach this to, and I like to say liberate, activate, create. Liberate the inner programming and the vows. Activate your truer inner power and your vision to fully shine and to create your wealthy life full of meaning and full of impact. So, you know, what I want to suggest to you is that this time in this space that we have together, this is your time. You know, 3 or 4 years ago was my time, but make this your time. I want you to feel inspired that you can start creating and manifesting a whole new level of wealth, because I promise you it's possible for you. And that's exactly what we want to start showing you in this time together, that you can allow your power, your light, your gifts to shine brightly, and that is what makes more wealth show up. that you can take a quantum leap in what I call your personal power and your presence, your powerful presence on this planet. And from the bottom of my heart to every one of you listening, this is what I want for you. This is my passion. This is what I want for you. And I would encourage you, dare I say challenge you, to want more for yourself. Because there is so much going on in the world right now. There's so much belief in scarcity. There's so much happening in the business world. You know, big companies are crumbling. This is the time for the individual person to really make a decision about what is possible for you in your wealth. So where we're going to start now is I want you to actually start by connecting to your wealth and the impact that you want to make on this planet. And so if this is your time, if you've agreed with me, okay, Margaret, this is my time, I'm going to play along with you, then I want you to do this, this wealth and impact exercise with me, okay? So everybody ready for that? And definitely have your paper and pen in front of you. And as you can see, you know, I am talking fast, we're moving fast, and I want you to be able to capture as much of this great stuff as possible, because really reconnecting to your vision, which is exactly what I did, is really where we start the whole process. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to, everyone take a nice deep breath, kind of a cleansing breath, and I want you to write down on a piece of paper in front of you how much money you want to create in your life. What is the number of wealth that you want to have? Now, you could write it down as your income, your annual income, or you could write it down as the wealth that you want to create, say, in the next 2 years, okay? But I want you to get clear on what that number is. And so do that quick, write a number down. It's okay if you feel like you're guessing, but the one thing that I do not want you to do, and this is very important, I don't want you to put down the number that you think you can earn based on all of your, dare I say, limiting beliefs, right? I want you to put down the number that would be a thriving goal for you, not just surviving. Even if you don't know how to make it happen, put down the number that if you were earning that much, it doesn't have to be 10 bazillion, but if the next number, that if you were doing that and doing what you love, that you would feel that you'd feel like you were thriving. You'd have a disposable income. You could take that vacation. Maybe you could buy that new car. You could really have a different sense in your life. So I want you to get that number down. Okay, and now next to it, I want you to write the impact on that. And so in order for you to have that much money showing up for you, that means some way, somehow, you have given something. You've given of your energy. Now, I know every once in a while money falls in our lap or people win the lottery, but in general, to have a stream of money flowing to you, it is going to come through the energy that you put out. Energy out, energy coming back in. So I want you to think about the gift that you give, what you do, your product, your service, your brilliance, whatever it is that you do or give that lets money come to you, that lets you earn money. I want you to think about that. If you were earning that number, how many people would have to be being served by the unique and beautiful and valuable gift that you give? Now, if you work in a company, you know, it's the same thing. It's like, how much of an impact are you going to be having? How valuable would you be? What level are you going to be operating at? And what impact could that potentially have? Because remember, your company has customers. Your company has an impact on the world. So it's okay. Explode it out. Because I really want you to get that these two things are connected. So take those two numbers and look at them. And I want you to consider doubling them. Double both numbers. So write those down. Now, often this is where we're not getting into the tapping till a little bit later and discussing what that is and how it works, and you're going to love that. But just to tell you that right here is where what I call level 1 tapping is often great to do, because what comes up right now is often the inner skeptic that says, that's impossible. And I just want you to take a breath and honor that you might have a voice coming up with all sorts of limiting beliefs. As a matter of fact, this is a perfect time to capture some of those. So you walk away from this call with real limiting beliefs that are actionable for you that you know you got to go after. So if there's some voices coming up saying that would be hard, or this is impossible, or I don't know how to do it, and what if I fail, just capture those and breathe and say, okay, I hear you, okay? But I just want you to let that goal and those numbers, those doubled numbers, be there. Because I want to do another little exercise with you. So I want you to take another nice deep breath. And I want you to close your eyes and picture yourself standing on the planet. Just see yourself there, just like you're watching yourself from afar. There you are, standing on the planet. You can put yourself in something beautiful that you're wearing. And I want you to see, sort of metaphorically, how your energy comes out of you when you are giving and doing and being the gift that you are, giving the gift and the brilliance that you have. That is the way that you give, which creates the income coming back your way, because it's really an energy exchange. So I want you to just tune in and see if you could imagine yourself doing and giving what it is that you do for a living, what you love doing, or what you would like to be doing more of, because some of us are still have our foot in a job versus the thing that makes us light on fire every day. So see yourself giving that gift, and I want you to see now that you're surrounded by people, and those people are receiving that gift from you, and it is transforming them in some way. I don't care if you sell painting services or insurance or you're a transformational coach. You are transforming people with the gift that you give. So I want you to see that transformation happen and see that expand out in the ripple effect, because maybe the gift that you bring to a person somehow ripples out and affects maybe their family and the people in their life. So, you know, I just want you to own that in this moment, that what you do is important. And I want you to connect that when I made you double your goal, which sometimes a little voice comes up and says, ooh, that's kind of selfish. Do you see what happens when you double a goal? The impact that it means that you are having. Because in order for you to double that goal, it means twice as many people are somehow getting the transformation that you provide. Or they're getting transformed in a bigger way, or a mix of both. You're helping more people, or you're helping people in a bigger way, or a mix of both. So I want you to just see that and really get clear that your personal wealth goal serves this planet. And so I want you to really look at it and want it for you, and want it for the world. And I say here, you know, Alan and I have an opinion about that, right, Alan, because we really believe that whatever you're visualizing, the impact that you're having, you are underestimating it. I'm going to say that again. You are underestimating the impact that you will have if you set a bigger wealth goal for yourself. Don't you just love how that works?
Margaret, I wanted to share a quote with you if I could,
Sure.
that I heard recently. Carl Jung said that we all walk in shoes that are too small for us.
Wow, I love that.
And
Absolutely.
what I can say to all of you listening is, you know, the thing that I love so much about Margaret's work is she's always inviting us not only to step up on what are our wealth goals, you know, what are our vision for the world that we want to live in? What is our vision for the lives that we really want to lead? What is the vision for the impact that we want to have globally? She's always inviting us how to really, up the ante on our own vision, but then she comes right back to it and says, now who are you in your body? Who are you in your energy so that you can actually fulfill that dream that you have for yourself? So thank you, Margaret, for just always kind of calling me forward into my own magnificence and greatness.
You are welcome, Alan. And, this is interesting, right? Because we did this, I sent out this chakra survey that everyone's had, and whether you've gotten to take a look at it or not, there's a section on the survey about what is your energetic willingness. And, I am 99% sure that 99% of the people that are listening right now scored very high on their energetic willingness because you wouldn't be here otherwise. So I just want to own that, in that survey, I'm asking you questions different ways because I know that there's different ways to get you to really speak to what you really want. And when you're just quietly filling out a survey that no one can see, often we're a little more honest. So I want you to own that your wealth goal is important to this planet, and making it bigger serves the world more. Make that connection. Again, we suggest to you that it is our opinion that whatever you're thinking your impact will be with a doubled goal, you're underestimating the impact that you can have and the ripple effect that will have on this beautiful planet. And that when you look at your energetic willingness from that survey, I just want you to go, wow, you know what? The truth is, I really do frickin' want it. I really am ready to start having more wealth in your life. And the reason why that I want you to get there is because I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to beg you because I think that you're whatever it is you do, I know it's important for this planet. I'm going to ask you to decide here and now that this dream, this vision, this goal that you're looking at is non-negotiable. Don't negotiate away your dream. I went down the path and I started to negotiate it away, and I did that for a good long year and a half, and I really suffered, and it was so disappointing when I realized that I actually did create the dream I had asked for, but it was the real dream was negotiated away. And so I want to suggest to you what you're picturing yourself giving this gift and receiving back, the energy exchange of that in form of real wealth, that is non-negotiable. And I hope that you can feel it when I say it, because I can feel it when I say it. It feels, well, not to get too woo, but it feels like a really great vibration. So, what I like to remind people is when we come back and we look at that goal and we say, okay, I'm really not there yet. Why hasn't this shown up for me? And the truth about why you don't have this wealth that you've just written down on this paper and connected to the impact that you can have and why it's so globally important for you to ask for more is, you don't have it. It has nothing to do with your deserving. And that's one of the go-to places in our inner talk that we go to. But the reasons are not out there. It's not your deserving. It's not the government and the taxes and the economy and the financial systems. It's truly that you have an inner glass ceiling that has been programmed into you, and it has the power to limit you. And actually, it's generational programming that's been handed down from generation to generation. And when you look at this generational programming, it actually, to me, it's so insidious because it's hidden. We really don't see it operating. And I'm going to walk you through in the exercises we do next to really let you see how yours is operating, and so that you can go, wow, this is mine. But when we start to see it and we pull back, that it literally has the power to impoverish and disempower literally generations of people, like whole generations of people. And I just find that mind-boggling, and I'm so on a mission to stop this generational programming. And so when we look at this programming, it's really like, you know, they used to have this thing on cars where they called it a governor, so that you couldn't speed past the set speed limit for the car. They tried to do that at one point back in history, and maybe it was in the 80s or 90s, I can't remember. But I remember them calling it a governor, and this is what it reminds me of, is it governs and it limits you unconsciously to stay within a set point. Your inner glass ceiling is kind of like this set of limits around a set point, and it actually sets and it limits how much you can earn in your lifetime, how much wealth you're allowed to amass or create, whether or not you can earn doing what you love. Isn't that one interesting? And it will limit how brightly you are allowed to shine with all of your power and all of your amazingness. It even says who you're allowed to be. But the worst part of it is, and this is really important, so I want you to really take this in, the worst part is that we have made a vow to be loyal to this programming. And these vows use something, I don't even have a good name. I call them the 3 pains. It's like the 3 dark shadows. I got to come up with something to really call these 3 things, because the vows use 3 things to keep you in line. And you've all felt these 3 before: shame, fear or anxiety, however we feel it, and battle. Now, when I say battle, I mean when inner battle will come up within you, which means you're beating yourself up. You're going into a cycle of beating yourself up, self-loathing, or battle appearing in your life, battle with other people, battle with God, battle with the world, okay? Or me, I used to battle with the law of attraction and have arguments with it. And so these vows keep you, we vow to be loyal to our programming, and then the vow uses these 3 things to keep you in line. And so that's why it is so important for you to go and do deeper inner work so that you can go further in your energy and further in your outer wealth. And I can't put enough of a point on that. You've got to do the deeper inner work so that you can go further in your outer wealth. And, you know, I love that Susie Orman has said for years, you know, your inner net worth, your inner worth creates your net worth. And so even someone like Susie Orman, who's a real just straight-laced money person, gets that you have to do the inner work if you want to see the outer wealth. So I'm mentioning these vows, and I've talked about the chakras and my significant other Reese. And so I just want to go into and give you some of the real key on this, the key learning, so that you can take a bunch of notes. I really want you to walk away feeling this solid sense of I can really implement these things in my life, and change is going to start happening really quickly. So again, I'm going to keep going through this quickly and take as many notes as you can. I think everyone's getting why I said you might want to turn off the distractions. Okay. So first of all, we can look at the chakras. They come from the ancient yogic tradition. They've been around for thousands of years. Gosh, you could just Google the word chakras and you could be reading for 10 hours. And we traditionally see them as energy centers. You have 7 energy centers in your body. But we can also look at the chakras as the levels of consciousness, and that we have 7 levels of consciousness. Now, what's interesting is that there's many, chakras come up in personal development and in spiritual programs or spiritual practices. And of course, again, they've been around for thousands of years. But when we look at the 7 chakras, there is a tendency for people who love to meditate and who love affirmations and who love spiritual work to really focus on the upper chakras, what are called the upper chakras, your connection to infinite possibility and your connection to the divine and your connection to psychic sight and some of these upper chakra faculties. However, to me, this is sort of the blind spot in some of the personal development and spiritual work that I am very passionate about changing, which is that understanding that money and wealth are lower chakra issues. They are first and second chakra issues. And so the first and second chakra are the money and wealth chakras. And so the inner work that we have to do must be focused on what we call the lower self or the lower chakras. And you know, it's interesting that Debbie Ford, the late great Debbie Ford, God bless her, she wrote the Dark Side of the Light Chasers, and with Deepak Chopra and Marianne Williamson together, she wrote The Shadow Effect. She wrote a book called Courage, an amazing, inspiring woman, and she dedicated her life, the second part of her life, to teaching people about the lower self and the shadow sides, and her work is still just starting to have these ripple effects in personal development, and I have just been very swayed by her work together with Reese's. So you really, if you don't focus on the lower self, then money and wealth isn't really one of the things that you're going to be able to shift. Maybe that's one way to say it. You know, so if you like the idea of not just the idea of abundance and prosperity, but actual money and wealth showing up for you, that is lower self, lower chakra work, and you've got to be willing to go there. So I want to talk now about the vows and how they are created. And so vows, negative vows, sit in every chakra. But the lower chakra vows are the deepest and the oldest because they're in the murkiest place, which is the lower chakras. It's our most unconscious, like I say, murky place. And it truly acts like a blind spot, and it tends to run us in the most unconscious ways that we have. So how the vows are created is that when you are a child, okay, and I'm just going to warn you that sometimes even going through this discussion can be a little bit triggering for people. So when you were a child, if there was a situation in your house, in your home with your parents, that for you to shine fully with all of your magnificent, beautiful, innocent amazingness, that would have been either dangerous, for some people physically dangerous, or dangerous maybe psychologically, like there would have been criticism, or that it just wasn't possible because of what was going on in your house. You know, maybe there was just too much stress, or a parent was sick, or another child was sick, or something, that there just wasn't the space. And so if you were to try to shine like that and say, I want to be seen this way, and actually ask for someone to say, you know, like a child will do naturally, look at me, look at how great I am, that would have been dangerous in some way, or there was just no way the adults could have met that need for you, could have taken the time, held that space, and met that basic need for you, which was to allow you to be there and be seen and shine. When that's impossible, or you know that what it is that you want to be seen for and do is never going to be seen, you're never going to get that to come to you, you're never going to get what you really want, we will make a vow. And the vow is always sounds like this. It's from now on, instead of wanting that, being that, allowing myself to feel that, I am going to do this instead. And so we run through our head and our mind and the rules of our house, and we figure out what we're going to do and be instead. We figure out what we're even going to ask for instead. And it usually sounds like this: something or someone that everybody wants me to be. Or I'm going to be and say and do whatever I have to be safe, even if that means shining less brightly, being small, or being invisible. I'm going to be someone maybe who's super smart and super perfect, and that is going to keep me safe or let me be seen in some way. And so all of the vows, and there's different vows in every chakra, all of them go directly against who you are meant to be on this planet and what you were meant to really shine with. Now, when I told my story, you heard me say my vows spoke and said, you know, I don't have the personal power for that. And this is exactly what vows do. And when we even think about breaking a vow and even start to move in that direction, or maybe even just have the thought, that's when the three pains will appear. You will either feel overwhelming fear and anxiety, or you will feel shame and embarrassment, by the way, both of which you heard in my story I felt when I even thought about telling people my big dream and my big vision. Or you will experience battle. Either inside of you, you'll cycle into some kind of a self-loathing cycle, or you will manifest someone to come right up to you and go into battle with you and say, I don't think you can do it, you're not good enough. So, you know, just note, if you're already feeling this, if you're connecting to this and you're knowing that this is something that, you know, happened in your childhood, you know, it's okay, you know, take a breath. We're going to be getting into the exercises and doing some processes that are really going to make a big difference for you. But this is such, you know, to me, when I heard it for the first time, I immediately had a full body sort of recognition that this is such cutting edge work. What Reese is teaching us about these vows are just genius, and it has the ability to just transform things so quickly. So if you're feeling it, I just want you to honor that and know that we're going to keep moving, and you're really going to get the skills and the understanding that you need to walk away from this call with how do I change this? Okay, and so one of the aspects that I like to just reinforce about the vows is that when we make that vow and say, wow, it's not safe in my family, so I'm going to be more invisible, for example, or I'm going to hide who I am in all of my light and be someone who's more appropriate or perfect, that vow becomes the undeniable truth within you. It becomes the undeniable truth about the world and how it operates. It becomes the undeniable truth about the way things are, about the way people are, about whether the world is dangerous or safe, about how money works. And the thing about undeniable truth is, why would we question something that's an undeniable truth? It's, the very definition means we don't question it. And this is what's so critical for you to really let in about the vows, is that this is why they underlie and stay hidden, and really they underlie all the ways that you limit and sabotage yourself without realizing it. You just might feel like, whoa, I was about to do that, and then I felt fear and I felt anxious, and so then I second-guessed myself and I stopped. But really, that's a vow coming up that's yelling at you, undeniable truth, what you're about to do is dangerous. And again, that these three key pains, the shame and the fear and the battle, the vow will use that to stop you. And so I want you to know from this moment forward that when you feel one of those three things, shame, fear, anxiety, or you're seeing battle appear in front of you or inside of you, I want you to say to yourself, whoa, a vow has just come up to get me to stop, to pull back, or to somehow do something that's literally going to lead to self-sabotage for me, that's going to take whatever I've created so far and freaking wreck it. So I just want you to breathe and let that in. And ask you, you know, is that something that you can do? Is that something you can now walk away from this call and know, when I'm feeling these three things, I am going to stop because a vow is coming up. So let's find out, you know, what's in your earliest wealth programming. So I want to show you what your programming is, and then I want to show you some of the vows that you took just at the very first level, because it's the biggest impact on your wealth. And actually, when you looked at your chakra survey, and again, if you haven't filled it out yet, no worries, you can go back to it. But when you filled out that chakra survey, it really does kind of energetically get you ready for this call and for this training. when you look at that survey, even though there's different questions about income and welfare, it really is about basically just the first chakra in the first chakra vows. So let's see what's in your wealth programming right now. So this is the first chakra exercise I want you to do. So you can take a little break from all the notes right now. I can hear the notes happening and take a nice deep breath. And then we're going to visualize something again. So I want you to close your eyes so you can visualize or imagine something. And I want you to see yourself there, maybe around the age of 5 or 6, just like you could see your imagination or your unconscious mind just painting a picture of you there. And just let that picture be very clear. Just ask, what would that be like if my unconscious mind, could you please send me a picture that's really clear, that I could almost see what I'm wearing, okay? And I want you to just now put your parents or your caregivers in the picture with you, but they are dealing with, talking about, managing, handling money and the bills. And I want you to just see what's happening in that picture. What are the emotions in your parents? What are they feeling? Is there anxiety there? Is there sadness there? Are they feeling dread? Is there arguing there? Is there anger there? What are they feeling? And also notice, you're just a kid in this picture. How do you feel? You're there, you're taking it in, or maybe there was even silence about money. But are you feeling in that picture anxiety, fear, dread, shame, guilt? Are you feeling abandoned? Are you feeling ignored? Are you feeling anger? And I also want you to just really get, because your unconscious mind is painting you your picture right now. This is full of amazing information for you. So just try to capture as many as you can. And you can start writing some of these down. You can see them on the slide here. But what are there anything that's popping up, like beliefs about money, about rich people, about wealth, about how hard you have to work for your money, or about people who don't apparently work that hard for their money? And finally, what are you feeling seeing your parents? Do you feel sympathy or compassion for them? Maybe they worked hard and never got ahead. Are you feeling anger at one or both of your parents and saying, God, I never wanted to be like them? I just want you to take all of this in. This is a massive amount of incredibly powerful information that can really transform the way you're creating wealth in your life, because you're looking at your earliest set of programming. So now I want to kick this up a notch, okay? So I want you to close your eyes again and go back into that visualization, okay? But now you're stepping into the picture as an adult, so you can let the younger version of you go, and now you step into this picture. You're an adult that you are today, and your parents are your parents of the past. But remember that doubled goal that you set? And I want you to, I forgot to mention this earlier, I want you to imagine that you are already earning that doubled goal, and you are working as much as you want to work. And right before you stepped into this picture with your parents, the phone rang, and it was a television network, maybe the Oprah Friends Network, and they want to feature you on the show, which is 1,000x or more your income. So you're now stepping into this picture, and you are telling your parents how much money you earn, how much you love what you do, the impact that you make. You're telling them how many hours you work for your money, and all about this phone call you just got that's going to 100x your income. So what's happening in that picture? Because this is going to trigger some of the feelings of the vows. So I'm going to ask you some questions. You can see it on the slide. You can, close your eyes, open them, take some notes as best you can. But what rule or rules did you just break? How are your parents reacting? What are they saying? Is there judgment? Do you feel disempowered? Do they look disempowered? Are the three feelings coming up? Are you feeling anxious? Oh my gosh, I would never tell them that. Are you feeling ashamed or embarrassed or bad, somehow bad? Or are you seeing battle in this picture because your parents are now like accusing you? Where are you getting that money? Which comes up amazingly a lot. I do this with people all over the world, and I can't tell you how many times that comes up. So are you seeing the three? Battle, fear, shame. And I want you to listen to this question. Do you still fit in this family? Do you still fit in this family? Because what you're feeling now is that vow to be loyal to the way your family did it. That set of rules and programming. And so what you will do from this incredibly powerful vow at the first chakra, it's the first level, and that makes it incredibly powerful. It's the oldest. It's based on like survival instinct, right, to not leave the tribe. What it does is it means that you are going to recreate, maybe not the exact same level of money that they were earning, but you are going to recreate the same feeling about money and how money works and how hard you have to work so that you stay within that paradigm. Now, the interesting thing about the first chakra vow is it has two sides. It can be either loyalty and at the same time rebellion. So even if you remember saying, I am never going to be like them, I'm going to surpass my family, what that means is you will surpass and then find a way to sabotage and cycle all the way back to feeling again like you're stuck in the paradigm of your family. So I just want you to breathe and let this in. A lot of aha moments here. And you can kind of see what I'm saying about generational. My parents were first generation middle class. They grew up in the working class. My father was the first one to go to college in his family. And so when you look at the paradigm, even though they were up in the middle class, they were programmed from their parents to have, for instance, anxiety around money and living hand to mouth. And I can tell you that that has come forward into my family. Every one of my brothers and sisters are educated, and yet, in general, for most of our lives, we have always had just enough. The programming gets handed down. And so, again, I think I said it earlier, this is not your fault. It doesn't mean you're not deserving. There is nothing outside of you that is making this happen. This is your inner glass ceiling, and when we get that, we can change it. And by the way, I like to call this a moment of consciousness, right? And sometimes, we can really feel the energy of this aha moment of consciousness, because a moment of consciousness like this can really change everything from this moment forward. So I want you to also let in that this vow that you're feeling, that it's actually the same vow that stops you every time when you pull back your light and you say, I'm not going to shine too brightly. I don't want to disempower anyone, or I don't want to be criticized. When you pull back your dream, your vision, when you say, you know what, I'm going to negotiate down that goal. That's what I did. Thank God I started doing this chakra work. This is the same limiting vow that is at play when you say, I'm going to stay small. When you go into fear, when you go into self-sabotage. And by the way, it's also the vow that's running when you manifest magically battles in your life. Where are these battles coming from? They're coming from these vows. That feels so powerful to me right now. So we are going to go into some tapping and showing you this process and this exercise and this visualization to really start to move some of this so that you can really make the shift tonight and have everything be different for you tomorrow. That's how I like things to work. But I want to ask you just a few more questions first. And you know what? I'm going to say that these are kind of hard questions. But the reason why I ask these questions is we are so human, and we are able to live with a lot of pain, latent pain. And so if we don't see what the costs are, like me, if I had made just enough money living on the road to medium in my medium goal for my new life, if I had made just enough money, I probably would have kept going and never changed. So it took painful, running out of money as a single mother, for me to really go, whoa, I have to be willing to go down a different road and step way out of my comfort zone and do this weird chakra thing. And so I want to ask you that question because I so, from the bottom of my heart, want you to be motivated to take this moment of consciousness and really run with it. So I'm going to ask you, how much has this vow cost you? How much has it cost you? How much has it cost you just in money? If you went back 5 years even, has it cost you $1,000? I've had so many people say to me, Margaret, it's cost me $1 million because of what I've held myself back from or sabotaged myself. So I really want you to think about how much has this cost you, because we humans apparently need to see it before we will really get motivated to step out of our comfort zone. And when we do this next exercise, I want you on it. Like, I am so motivated to do this because I am sick of paying this cost. And I want you to just, expand on that in this moment of consciousness and really see how these vows impact your decisions, your power, your actions. They even impact the vision, like creating dreams and saying, this is my dream, and we scale back even our vision. So I just want you to really let in how this impact, it's like octopus arms all the way through everything. And this is actually how it works in the chakras, right? And so there's different chakras for your vision, for your imagining, for your belief in infinite possibility, which is the 7th chakra, the 6th chakra, which is your psychic sight, the 3rd chakra, which is your action center. This programming, this vow, runs all the way up through the system and impacts the whole system. And so there's a real price in our wealth, and there's a real price in you enjoying the hell out of your life and being in a mission that lights you on fire. There's a real price in your power. There's a real price in your energy. There's just such a price in your life. And, I can't express enough why this is my passion, to liberate people from these vows, because it's just so wrong to be limited by something that is in your blind spot. And you know what? You never wanted it in the first place. I didn't want the programming that I had. So again, for me, moment of consciousness is recognizing this has been handed down to you. It is not your fault, but you truly have your freedom limited to create while this is all stuck in place. And it's almost like it's steel girders that's stuck in place. And that's when we can really use this tapping technique, which is so out of the box, with the chakras, which are more out of the box, and really clear the vows. And so we really want to get into that next, and we're going to do this amazing visualization process at the end, which is going to connect all of our energy, getting really woo-woo there. But before we get into that, I did want to share with you a question. I have one question for you, because this happens a lot when I talk. Is this how you're feeling right now? Are you a little bit overwhelmed with all of the notes that you're taking? And I love the 50s lady. I smile to hide how completely overwhelmed I am. That's what we superachievers do. And so if this is how you're feeling, then I do have a resource for you. My goal is that you you get so much information on this webinar that you walk away and you just have an amazing, you're armed with this amazing information and the process that we're going to do at the end. But I do want to offer you the ability to take some of these aha moments and turn them into a quantum leap so that you can get there even faster and more systematically and take advantage of everything that took me a much longer time to figure out. And so what I want to talk to you about in just a few minutes is my step-by-step proven process, which will go all 7 chakras, will give you expert guidance the whole way as you really start to work with the things that you're learning on this training and to transform your life, give you help and support over the bumps because this really is deep work. And it's truly a comprehensive and cutting-edge resource that I put together for you there. And really, what I want to show you here is absolutely no risk. Everything I do is 100% guaranteed, so you really have just nothing to lose and everything to gain. So, and this is something that, and this is why Alan is actually with me on the call, because Alan Davidson is the one that convinced me to take all the stuff that you've heard tonight and pour everything I have done into a comprehensive resource. And so what you're looking at here is the 7 levels of wealth manifestation and in some of the amazing places that it has been featured on. And Alan, I have been talking non-stop, and so if you want to jump in, have I missed anything? Let's start to, just for a few minutes, talk about this amazing program and this offer that we have for them right now.
All right. Well, Margaret, it's just such a fabulous opportunity, and the insight and the depth that you've already shared that I think, when I first heard it, I just went, wow, that's the missing piece for me. And I knew then with the tool of using the tapping, which you are going to show us in a few minutes, how we can use this amazing tool then to begin to clear our energy field and the vows and the blocks in each of the chakras in regards to wealth and power and success and happiness and vitality and all those things. So, it was so fortunate for me to meet you at the time that I did, because I shared at the beginning of the call the transformation that I've had around my own sense of manifesting wealth and being able to pay off massive amounts of debt. But just the ease of being able to really trust the universe and trust into my own sense of, I deserve this. And I am born to have a great impact on the world. And now I have the power to really move out into the world and facilitate the change in other people. And certainly like people like Margaret, I bring my marketing and my business skills to help her to actually reach out to you, everyone listening to this, to help her in her mission and the impact that she's destined to have in the world. But you can see that this work that Margaret is doing is so cutting edge. We mentioned that Tarcher Penguin Books, raised their hand immediately and said, we've got to have this girl as an author, and we want to get this work out to the mainstream. But the 7 levels of wealth manifestation and the tapping and the vows has already appeared on CNN, Wall Street Journal, ABC, CBS News, NBC, and it's just going to ripple out from there. The Boston Globe, the Houston Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle, the Miami Herald, very prominent media in our world are beginning to pick up on, we like to joke and call it woo-woo, but the results are undeniable. The responses, the specific measurable breakthroughs that people have had because of this work. When we first started releasing the videos on this work, that we did a video on that first chakra vow, 4,000 comments, gut-wrenching, heart-rending comments about how people, their family paradigm vows have really, really cost them so much. So what this course does, the 7 levels of wealth manifestation, it helps you go specifically into each of the limiting vows at each of the 7 chakras, the 7 energy centers in your body, and to really tap into your own true ability to manifest from all 7 levels of your brilliance. When you remove those limiting valves from each of the chakras, then you are free to pump so much energy through your life and really connect with your inner brilliance. And so then you can access more of what Margaret loves to call your true rock star power.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And so the way that I have organized this so that it's really the most useful and serve you the best is that it is a full book. It is a workbook. It is spiral wound because people take lots of notes in it. And everything is in there in the transcription of all the tapping that we do. There is 10 CD audio program that is me guiding you the whole way. You know, people, whether you know tapping, you've never heard of it, or you know tapping, one of the biggest issues with tapping, even though it's very simple to use, you're about to learn how to use it, is that people don't know what words to say. And so there I am with my voice guiding you the whole way through 10 audio CDs. And the program is incredibly dynamic in that we have left in some of the real participant voices, so you really hear the emotion and the energy that lets the work go so much deeper than if I was just in a recording studio talking to nobody, right? Then there is a DVD training that has, it's not the same as the audio, it's 11 more tapping exercises. Again, all the tapping is transcribed so that you can refer to it very easily. It has a whole transcription with the video training, but it's just 11 more because the chakras are such dynamic places. I wanted to hit even more angles of even more vows that we have at different chakras. The program offers, in addition to the physical product, instant access to the digital version, so you can download it. You could literally start tapping tonight with this program. And when I first put out this program, and this is another genius thing of Alan, he said, Margaret, you know, sometimes self-help turns into shelf-help. And I almost had a heart attack, the thought of this work that I feel is so powerful, going on someone's shelf. And I said, how can I ensure that people get the deepest transformation to this really, really lower self-work, which is very different and out of the comfort zone, but I think the newest technology that we have. How can I make sure they get that and they get the fastest results? And we came up with the idea of doing 5 live Q&A calls with me. They are timed to keep you on track. They relate to the training that you're getting in the program, but again, it's live with me. And if you look below the training webinar, you can see that the live Q&A calls are actually starting very soon. I'm about to kick off a live series of these, and you definitely, when you're working through this program, to have me live on the line every week really changes how fast you get results with the program. And then I've done these live Q&A calls so many times with people all over the world that I have a best of the best series. So you actually get the recording. I call it the gold series. So you get 5 more Q&A calls, which are the best of the best that I've ever done, ever, all put together, because each one of these calls, I actually, after doing it with thousands of people, so many times in a year and a half, the specific issues that would come up for people at each chakra, I could go into really much more deeply. And so I really started to learn, wow, when people are doing the first chakra issue, it also triggers this, and let's go deeper on that. So again, there is live calls with me starting very soon. You can see the date below there. And then there is also the best of the best. And then there's so many crazy bonuses. And this is, again, Alan Davidson. He is like, add more, give more bonuses, make it a no-brainer for people, right, Alan? He just wanted me to load this in so that you just get so much value that there is so much work for you to do. And so, Alan, I'm going to let you talk about these two because you convinced me to put these in here, and they weren't originally.
Right. Well, I mean, as Margaret said, she poured her heart and soul into creating the product. But I also said, the product itself is an amazing transformation. And I've been through the product 3 entire times myself. It's like each time is going deeper and deeper. At first it was sort of like peeling back the layers of an onion, but I was finally like, no, let's go right to the root of the onion and pull the whole thing out. But enough of the onion already. So, but I also know that Margaret has this amazing catalog of work. She talked about all this work and teaching she's been doing for years, and she had these amazing recordings that I knew that would help you take it even to a deeper level. You doing the initial work on the 7 chakras, but then one of the things that became very clear is that we all have a money shadow, and these judgments that we have that are so internalized into our energy grid and the actual muscles and bones of our body. And so she's done an amazing tapping session on working with the money shadow. And you'll hear Dr. Karen's story in a few minutes, and that's where she had the major breakthrough around her paradigm of shelf, was this particular bonus recording.
And it's really, the money shadow is really about big wealth. It's really, it's not about little wealth. It comes up when you start looking at big wealth and big, being quote-unquote rich. And so it's really kind of takes that work to the next level, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And then, one of the things as I was listening to Margaret talk, there are certain vows at the 2nd chakra around, how we manifest money and wealth, but there's also a whole lot else going on at the 2nd chakra. It's really where our power and our sexuality and our intimacy and our desire and our money all meet at the 2nd chakra. And so, Margaret does an amazing job of talking about that. I said, okay, you've got to add another layer of what people can do to clear all of this confusion and the limitation at the 2nd chakra. So, obviously in the course you get all the wealth scripts and working with the wealth vows of the 7th chakra, but this will actually help you take it to a whole nother level. And I like to think about, not only am I wealthy in my pocketbook, but I'm wealthy in my bedroom, and so it's getting my sexy back and how I can own vitality to a whole nother level.
In the 2nd chakra, I love the term fire hose. This is where you get it's a fire hose of raw life force energy, and there's a piece of that's sexual energy. And so strangely, and people love this audio, right, Alan? It's amazing what people say to us. I mean, we have people who are very advancing ages who love this audio because it opens up this powerful raw life force energy, and you have so much more running through the system. It's really like a fire hose.
Right.
So it's not focused on money, but it is in the way that it brings up more energy. And then we have even more bonuses here. So I added in some bonuses for Reese. Reese does an amazing training on what he calls the 5 kinds of people on the planet. I could talk for 2 hours about this specifically, but what I did was I did a 75-minute audio recording to expose you to this training, because it comes up, some of the people that you hear in the program are actually talking about their life purpose profile, and you'll want to know what that is because it really connects to your life purpose and the shadow work. This is one of the most riveting trainings on the planet. This is his other piece of genius. And he will also be having a book coming out. There's people scrambling working on his book saying that this is going to be like the next Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra level book. And this is not available anywhere. He only teaches it in his energy medicine school. So you get exposed to something that is, really kept under lock and key right now. And then we have this amazing healing meditation. One of my good friends is an incredible composer and meditation expert. He so loved this program that he asked me permission to take some of my words about the chakras and re-record it with his deep meditation voice and add in the crystal bowl, the chakra tone crystal bowl music that Reese uses, and make an incredible bonus. It's an hour of an additional meditation, and it's absolutely fabulous, absolutely amazing. It takes the work to the next level. And then we come to the next set of bonuses, which is another thing that Alan was like, listen, Margaret, when I want you to think about these people that are investing in the 7 levels and doing this transformational work, and I want you to think about them 6 weeks from now, when they have so shifted their energy, when they have cleared their vows step by step through all 7 chakras, and they are just at a whole new energetic level, what do they need next, Margaret? And so we put in 3 more bonuses. They're pieces of another program that I sell for about $500. They're pieces of the Secret of Intentional Wealth program. One is all around setting big goals, and this is really to start focusing in on how your vision and your dream becomes a goal and clearing the obstacles to creating, to setting huge goals, like we said in this program, and then really start moving toward, and what happens when we start moving toward them, how we keep the goals cleared away. I often call this, as I mentioned in the program earlier, level 1 tapping, whereas the tapping we're going to do next is a little bit more level 2 tapping. We also find that if debt is an issue for you, if you have created debt, there's a very specific energy around debt. And I found that working with people for years, and I created an entire audio and chapter of this whole program called Secret of Intentional Wealth, focused on clearing the extremely heavy and extremely negative and dark energy around debt when debt is an issue for you. So that is very powerful. And then the third piece is a program called Secret of Intentional Sales, and this is really showing you how to market and quote-unquote sell what you do by really sharing it in a beautiful win-win way. It is more of an action-oriented marketing tool, and so we've included it in there because if you are trying to have a bigger impact and put yourself out there and earn more money, there's things that you're going to have to do around spreading your message. Okay, and so one of the other bonuses is 1 year access to I have a private Facebook group, 7 Levels Facebook group. This is a tribe that is alive with amazing, supportive, dare I say, kick-ass rock star people that are all going through the 7 levels and commenting and supporting each other and connecting and being accountability partners. Totally priceless to be part of this. And in addition, I have my 7 levels coaches who are trained inside and out in the 7 levels, and they are in there posting and challenging and supporting and answering questions. It's truly amazing, and you get access to that for a year. Another bonus, a ticket to my next live event, and every year I have at least 1 live event, and you have absolutely a ticket to that live event with this program that always sells for right around $500. And this is actually, your ticket comes with this program for 3 days of incredible transformation. It's called Ignite Your Power, Manifest Your Wealth. And there's a picture of me and Reese there. You can see us again. And I mentioned, that this is no risk. You have everything to gain, nothing to lose, because I do a full 60-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee, 1 email, and you are done. I believe that this will totally make you, delight you, that it will change your life, that you'll start seeing results within the first week of using it, sometimes the first day of using it. But if you, for any reason, it's not what you wanted or needed, 1 email and you will be refunded, satisfaction, you send the product back 100%. So I wanted to make this so easy for you, because I know there's always people thinking, maybe I think I want it, but I'm not sure. And I just want you to feel that there is nothing to be worried about, because 100% satisfaction guarantee, I just wanted it to make it a no-brainer so that it's easy for you to step up, go outside of your comfort zone, go on a different road, which is really what it takes to make real change, and jump in and have this transformation with absolutely no risk. So I just want to quickly share a couple of the testimonials, because that's what you're supposed to do when you are talking about a product. And so I've got a couple here. This is from Dawson Church, who is an author, an international speaker, and he has been in the tapping field for over 30 years. And he took a copy of this program, and he said in here, I've written with the top names. He's written books with Dr. Norm Shealy and just amazing list of top names in personal development. And he read it cover to cover. He never came down to the seminar for hours, because once he started reading, he couldn't put it down. So he called it a true masterpiece of true and deep transformation, which I'm totally honored by. This next one, do you want to talk about Natalie, Alan, quickly?
Sure. Well, Natalie is really the face and the heart of Mind Movies, which is one of the largest websites for the law of attraction and personal development in the world, and they impact millions of lives every year. And Natalie just says Margaret is one of those experts who blew her mind with the life-changing knowledge. The 7 Levels videos had her sister and I in tears as they felt the vows that they come up. Natalie is from Australia, and they struggle. I mean, they had successful businesses, but at the same time they struggle with debt, they struggle with money, and now they just are living the life of their dreams. And Natalie really credits Margaret and the 7 Levels of Wealth Manifestation is going in there to the deepest level and clearing them to live an extraordinary life.
Yeah, she's an amazing woman. Now, this is one of those testimonials from Brittany Watkins that I would look at and say, that just sounds suspect to me. Made over $70,000 in 3 months. And so you can see Brittany here thanking me. But you know what? Brittany wanted to be here because I said, this is a testimony that just sounds too over the top and crazy. And so I would love it if we could take a minute just to actually hear from Brittany herself, because she wanted to tell her story with how the 7 Levels have changed her life. And so do we have Brittany with us?
I'm here, Margaret.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
Thank you so much for doing this, because exactly what I said, I would have a hard time believing this testimonial if it was me. Can you just kind of give us the cliff notes of the transformation that you experienced?
Yeah, and another thing that I want to point out, too, is that I went through your program just by listening to it, watching the videos, and listening to the audio. I didn't work with you privately or anything like that, which, most people that show up to do testimonials like this have maybe worked with the person privately, but I literally just watched your videos, listened to your audios, and everything changed. And the way that really showed up was that I was getting ready to launch my own product and was working with Mr. Alan Davidson as well. And, I thought I thought it was cool. I thought I had this, and I was really excited about it until it came time to shoot my videos. And the people came over to set up the recording studio in my house, and I literally, once they left, I had a complete meltdown. And, you talk about these vows and coming up against these vows. I was coming up against a big vow that I had no idea was there. And I just couldn't do it. And so I remember calling Alan going, oh, Alan, I don't think I can do this. And he goes, Brittany, did you watch those videos from Miss Margaret Lynch? In Alan's voice. And I was like, no. He's like, yeah, I suggest you do that. I'm like, okay, sure. And he had given me your stuff, but I just, I was like, oh, money, I don't have problems making money. When, I really did. I just didn't want to look at all the junk that was there, I'm sure, unconsciously. But at this point, I was just really ready. I was really ready to do something. And so I got out your videos, and I got out your audio programs, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I was shocked. I mean, the very first vow, I was like, whoa. And tapped through them, cried a lot, felt really good. And I'm like, okay, I've got this. I went back to record the videos again. And I got in front of the camera, and I felt really confident until the camera started rolling, and I lost all my lines. I forgot everything. And I called Alan again, and I said, Alan, I don't know what the heck is going on. He's like, Brittany, did you listen to Chakra 4, the vow to be perfect? And I'm like, nope, I missed that one. He's like, yeah, okay, go ahead and go back and do that. And so I did. I went back, I listened to Chakra 4, and of course it hit home because I was totally having this inner conflict that it had to be perfect, which is why I forgot all my lines. Go to bed, of course. The next day, I tried again. I said, okay, one final time I'm going to do this. And I got in front of the camera. I lost my flashcards that were my notes, but it didn't matter because the second that the camera went on, I made 3 videos that were 45 minutes long, and I nailed every single video on the first take. Now, that's nearly impossible.
It's crazy. Yeah,
and,
wow.
Yeah, and then we got We got 30,000 people to watch the videos. We had 700 or almost 1,000 comments from people saying how much their lives changed. And we net $70,000 in just the 3 months. So, I mean, it was truly incredible. And I didn't even realize it until later. And I just said, oh, my gosh, I need to send this woman an email.
And you did.
And I did.
Wow, that is amazing. And you know, this is what I love, because it was in a span of a couple of days, and you were able to do something that brought you in so much money that you had to get done, you know. And we talked about the cost earlier. What were the costs of you losing days in the studio where you were paying people to do the filming?
Oh,
so, yeah, that is so inspiring. Thank you so much, and I so appreciate you sharing that. It reminds me of why I love the work that I do and why I'm so passionate about it.
Well, thank you.
Because,
really
you know,
grateful.
your message is, just like we were saying, your message is unbelievable. What Brittany does is unbelievable. And to have her be able to put that work out there is just life-changing for so many people. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Margaret.
Well, and I have to just say that what a delight it is for me to introduce two powerhouses like Brittany and Margaret together, and that now here we are and the three of us can collaborate together and share our successes with you and show you, everyone who's listening, what is actually possible in your own life, in your own business, in your own wealth. So,
yeah,
Brittany, thank you for joining.
Of course. Well, thank you, Alan. You're the one that started this all.
Hey.
Thanks, Brittany. Okay, I just had one more, which was, and I love this one because Dr. Karen Moriarty is an incredible chiropractor, and she had created an amazing healing practice doing what she loved, but she could never build wealth. So she says, after working with this program, I stepped into my new power, a superpower, as a millionaire money manager and businesswoman, and the money is finally amassing to support me. And I know that because this was her big result, as she said at the top here, that she doubled her entire retirement account in 6 months. And so, you know, she is sort of one of those people who loves what she did, and just have people from all over the area saying she's the greatest chiropractor. She saved their life, and yet could never actually make money. And so this is just one of my favorite testimonials as well. Okay, so the regular price on this program is $497. Your special price today is $197. That's for the whole program, everything, all the bonuses that we went through, the live Q&A calls with me that are starting very soon, that we are going to be jumping right in on this material with, as well as the gold series of Q&A calls that you also get, the Facebook group, the support of my coaches in there, and 100% 60-day, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. You have everything to gain by going down this new road and really starting to do this deeper work, go further, go deeper, so that you can manifest bigger results and bigger wealth in your life and really make a bigger impact. And so again, you know, this product sells on my website every day for $497, but your special price, being with us today, going through this webinar, is $197. So we invite you to just click the button below, add to cart, jump in, get the program. Again, this beautiful packaging will be on its way to you. Physical products will ship, and you'll have instant access to download everything to your iPod, to your iPad, to your computer, and start working with it right away and get ready for the first Q&A call, because we are just going to start jumping right in and working together. Anything else you had to say on that, Alan, before we move on to talk a little bit about the chakra survey and do the tapping?
No, but I just want to remind people, you know, where you were at the beginning of this call, and as it's been revealed to you that, you know, maybe the reason that you've been struggling, that you're a heart-centered entrepreneur, that you're a healer, you're a massage therapist, you're a chiropractor, you're, you know, maybe even a professional on the corporate level, but you know that you've got a bigger mission and you want to get out there on your own, but you have that doubt and insecurity, wondering, you know, how am I going to make money? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to really thrive financially? And I can tell you right now that that shame and that doubt and that fear and that insecurity are driven by the limiting valves that are stored in your energy centers. So what's the price that you have been paying? Most of your life, to be honest with you, but certainly as you look to the next chapter in your life and the impact that you know you were born to have, what is the cost of not being able to tap into your core sets of power in each of these 7 chakras, and the limitation that these valves can put on your ability to attract money, manifest money, keep your money, and really grow financial wealth. And so you have an opportunity right now to make an investment in yourself of $197. And I love what Margaret says. There's nothing to risk, and you've got everything to gain. Because if you do not like what Margaret has offered for you, and I'll tell you, she has one of the lowest return rates in the whole world because the product is so damn good.
Yeah,
because it really does deliver the transformation that we're promising you right here on this webinar. But as she said, 60 days. If you don't get the transformation that we promise you, send us an email, and we will arrange to refund your money 100%. So
easily.
Lose, everything to gain, and it's an investment in yourself and what's possible for you for the entire rest of your life.
Yeah, we have really, this is, in this program, this is, I created this just as much for my engineer as I did for my transformational person inside of me. And it really is to give you the easiest, fastest way to master this work so you can really get the results faster and get the changes faster. I mean, you heard Brittany, she got it within days that allowed her to have such a big shift. And so, I can tell you, that I have, as Alan said, poured myself into this program, and it really is truly transformational. And if you have taken up the challenge that I gave you today, which is, decide that your dream, your vision is non-negotiable, then, then I want you to really consider that this is a new pathway, a different road to take out of the comfort zone. And it's not the road to medium, it's the road to deeper inner transformation that creates much bigger results. And I have seen them in my own story, in my own life, in a very short amount of time. So thank you for giving us the time to share this with you. Again, you can see right below the webinar, you can click to buy the program. It'll be on its way for you. You can see the Q&A calls are starting very soon. We've got to get started. So this is your chance to jump in and be part of the 7 levels and have that transformation like starting tomorrow. So I just wanted to touch quickly on that, the chakra survey. We don't really have a ton of time to go into it because I know we're going way over. And just looking at again that, when you look at that survey, my goal was twofold. It was to teach you about the chakras, because even when I was asking you questions through the chakras and asking you to rate how you're doing in each chakra, you were actually reading about the chakra in a way that's really not often taught. And so I really want you to recognize that even taking that survey is an energy shifter. But it's designed to show you that often we operate in like 1 or 2 chakras. Some of them are great, and some of them are just almost like non-existent sometimes. But again, the questions about checking in with your money and with your wealth, your income and your wealth, that is so focused on just the first chakra. So, what you're kind of getting in that part of the survey is really how you're doing around your first chakra programming, which we've talked about a lot today. There's 6 more chakras to deal with, and you see them in there. And I wanted you to get this incredibly, just like a powerful level of clarity on where you are now and where you can clear, and also what the upside is. Because as you read each of those chakra descriptions, even if you're a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10, you're really reading the upside of what it's like to be fully alive and experiencing the whole energy and the calling of that particular chakra. The part about energetic readiness we also touched on as well. That's really an inner clarity for you, a wake-up call, just to remind yourself, you know what? My dream is non-negotiable. I really do want it, and I really, really am sick of waiting for it to come true and wondering why it hasn't, and just stand in that space and say, energetically, I am ready for this, and that's why I call it energetic readiness, because it truly, truly is. And there's something about even our posture and our energy and the feeling when we realize, energetically, I am ready for more. I'm ready for a big change. I'm ready for something new, particularly in my wealth. Okay, so we're going to jump in and do the tapping. I'm not going to go through this slide, but tapping has been around for almost 30 years. It's got all these amazing things that it does. It shuts off the fight or flight. We literally use acupressure points, but without needles. We're just tapping. There's a lot there, and you're just going to have to read fast and go with me that tapping works. And it really is very easy. We're going to be lightly tapping on acupuncture points on our hand and our face, and I'll show this diagram again when we're doing the tapping. You can use either hand, either side of the face, but we tune into the negatives so that we can clear them, and then we can also speak positives, which will instill them. Weirdly, tapping works both ways. When we tune into negatives, we clear. When we tune into positives, they get supercharged. Okay? Again, I could do 2 hours on the theory of tapping and the clinical studies, but we can't go there. And so remember that as we tap, that shame, that fear, that battle can be triggered when you go to break a vow. And so just be mindful of that when we're going to come back to that visualization we did and ask you to sort of re-experience some of that so that we can clear it away in the tapping. And that tapping is a huge help because it really breaks the present moment and it really allows you to make a new choice. And your choices get easier when you use tapping and when you've decided that your goal is non-negotiable, because there's such a clarity that happens there, a clarity of purpose, a clarity of energy. So let's get tapping. So what we're going to do is when we do tapping, we clear the past, we challenge our vows, and we also bring our energy up, okay? So I'm going to lead through the tapping, and what I'm going to ask Alan to do is called Be My Echo. So I'm going to say a statement, and then when Alan repeats it, you are going to say it along with him as you're tapping on the tapping points, okay? And I'll walk through the tapping points. Hopefully I remember to keep walking through them. So, you're just going to be lightly tapping each of these points, eyebrow, side of the eye, under the nose, and you're just going to be lightly tapping them. We're doing just enough to create a little electrical charge to stimulate the nervous system. But the number of times you tap, or if you forget to switch points, or if you skip a point, it really doesn't matter. It's just making sure that you're tapping enough points. We're not even going to use the karate chop points actually at all. There's no magic to the individual points. It's really just about tapping enough to shift the nervous system and shift our energy. Okay, and so I want you to take a nice deep breath. And I will too, because I talk so fast. I like to get in so much teaching that I really try to talk fast. And I want you to tune back in to some of the aha moments that you've had. Particularly when you declared to your parents of the past what your big doubled, money that you're earning is from your doubled goal, that you love it, all of the things that you declared and the feelings that came up in you. And I'm just going to take some guesses because I've done this with a lot of people. If the words aren't perfect for you, that's okay, but we're going to do some negative words and then we're going to shift into the positive words, which is around bringing your energy up. And remember, say the words out loud because you know what? We can't hear you. So don't worry, but it works better if you really don't just listen. You do the tapping so you can have the experience and say the words out loud because, again, we want you to have transformation right here, right now. Okay, so tapping on the eyebrow point, just tuning back into that picture, okay? And Alan will be my echo. There I am.
There I am.
Speaking the truth of this big goal to my parents.
Speaking the truth of my big goal to my parents.
Inside of the eye and really feeling it.
Really feeling it.
And under the eye and really seeing the paradigm.
and really seeing the paradigm.
And the programming.
And the programming.
Under the nose, there was so much fear and anxiety around money.
There was so much fear and anxiety around money.
Chin point. Maybe even fighting about money.
Oh, maybe even fighting about money.
Disappointment, depression.
Disappointment and depression.
Collarbone point. Or maybe there was control issues around money.
Maybe there were control issues around money.
Top of the head. I see all the programming I received.
I see all the programming I received.
And I've been recreating it in my life.
And I have been recreating it all my life.
An eyebrow point. And when I speak about my big goal.
When I speak about my big goal.
Side of the eye. In this visualization.
In this visualization.
I felt it.
I felt it.
Under the eye. I broke a rule.
I broke a rule.
My family's rule.
My family's rule.
Several rules.
Several rules.
Under the nose. A rule I vowed never to break.
A rule that I vowed never to break.
Chin point. And it's bringing up battle.
And it's bringing up battle.
Anxiety.
Anxiety.
Maybe even shame.
Maybe even shame.
Collarbone point. It doesn't feel good.
Does not feel good.
I'm totally getting this vow.
I am totally getting this vow.
Top of the head. And I see how I've limited myself.
And I see how I've limited myself.
Eyebrow point. I'm just going to honor that.
Just going to honor that.
Side of the eye. In everything I've lost.
In everything I've lost.
Under the eye. In everything my parents have lost.
In everything my parents lost.
Under the nose. This whole vibe about money and scarcity.
This whole vibe about money and scarcity.
Chin point. I'm just going to honor it.
I'm just going to honor it.
And I'm open to clearing it.
And I am open to clearing it.
Collarbone point. As much as I can today.
As much as I can today.
Eyebrow point. Because the truth is.
Because the truth is.
I do want more.
I do want more.
Side of the eye. I want so much more.
I want so much more.
Under the eye. And I am willing to give my best.
I am willing to give my best.
Under the nose. And I'm pretty good at what I do.
And I am pretty good at what I do.
Chin point. So I am going to be open to a whole new wealth reality.
And I choose to be open to a whole new wealth reality.
Collarbone point. Giving in a bigger way.
Giving in a bigger way.
Shining with my gifts.
Shining with my gifts.
And receiving the wealth I was born to create.
Receiving the wealth I was born to create.
Top of the head. I hardly ever admit it.
I hardly ever admit it.
Eyebrow point. But I really do want that.
But I really do want it.
Side of the eye. And this has meaning attached to it.
It has meaning attached to it.
Because I make an impact when I shine bigger.
Because I make an impact when I shine bigger.
Under the eye. And I love giving what I give.
And I love giving what I give.
Under the nose. Win-win.
Win-win.
I am totally open to that.
I am totally open to that.
Chin point. And I'm finally admitting how badly I want it.
And I'm finally admitting how badly I really want it.
Collarbone point. And how sick I am of not getting it.
I am of not getting it.
And top of the head. So I'm now saying yes.
I am now saying yes.
Eyebrow point. This is my goal and it's non-negotiable.
This is my goal and it is non-negotiable.
Side of the eye. This is the wealth I'm saying yes to and I'm not giving up.
This is the wealth I'm saying yes to and I am not giving up.
Under the eye. This is my life and my time now.
This is my life and it is my time now.
Under the nose. This is my mountain and I'm going to climb it.
This is my mountain and I am climbing it.
Chin point. Nothing is going to stop me.
Nothing is going to stop me.
Collarbone point. And this is for my highest good and the highest good of the world.
This is for my highest good and the highest good of the world.
Top of the head. Amen to that.
Amen, sister, to that.
Okay, and take a nice deep breath. We like to take a nice cleansing breath after tapping. And just notice how your energy feels. We did some clearing. We didn't go too deep. You know, we don't have too much time left. But I wanted to show you how you can voice and clear and then sort of shift and bring your energy up to a much higher level by affirming the yes and how much you want something. It creates a completely different flow of energy. And so what I want to do now with this flow of energy is everyone close your eyes really quickly, and I want you to imagine that you are there and you are in your energy and it is now flowing. You've released some of those vows as much as you can today, and you have asked for a bigger charge of energy to flow through you by saying, I really want it, and affirming your goals and affirming to yourself and the universe that this is a win-win goal for the highest good of you and the planet. So I want you to see that now, because everyone who is hearing the sound of my voice right now is energetically connected. We are all energetically connected right now. So I want you to see that you could imagine yourself in this big, beautiful golden energy field all around you that represents your amazing gifts and your magnetic golden ability to draw to you everything that you want to create. So there's a going out of your energy and the gifts and your intention, and then there is a receiving back of this amazing energy. So I want you to see that, and then I want you to see a circle of people that represent all of the other people, the hundreds of people that are hearing this right at this moment, and see yourself in this amazing circle. And everyone's light starts to shift from golden to the whole rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple, which are the colors of all the chakras. So see yourself there as this circle of rainbow light. And imagine that you have 1,000-fold increased the impact of the healing and the clearing, because you're doing it in this energetic soul group that we've created right in this little moment. Because everyone that's connected right now has an incredible gift and intention. I just know it and feel it that they want to give. And when you give that gift, when you clear and you liberate and you bring your energy up and you say, yes, I want it, this is my goal, I'm going for it, the whole universe responds because you just shined more brightly with all of your chakras. And when you shine more brightly, you put out more energy, you create a ripple effect in everyone you touch, and more is magnetized back to you. And by connecting to everyone else together here, we just make it like a shock wave, a amazing wave of even more energy multiplied by every person that's listening at this very moment. Like we're all holding hands. So beautiful. So just be in that energy for a second and just breathe that in, feel grounded in your body, yet somehow at the same time otherworldly connected to this beautiful magnetic energy of giving and receiving. And take a nice deep breath and come on back, or not if you want to stay in that visualization. And I'm going to actually start to wrap up really quick, guys, because we've gone way over. We're trying to give so much today. So next steps, I would say, is be willing to use tapping to shift your state. It works so fast. And really stay on your key vows. Watch for the three things, the three pains, the fear, the shame, the battle, that when that shows up, know it, stay on it. Like, this is my vow. I'm going to watch for it. and start making new choices down a new road, the unfamiliar road, that road out of your comfort zone, because I want you to make choices from your non-negotiable dream, not from the vow that makes the choice automatically. And, you know, for me, from my heart, the 7 Levels program is just the cutting-edge technology that I feel will get you there the fastest. And so for me, that is always the next step that I offer. And so I'm just going to mention it again, the 7 Levels Wealth Manifestation Program. This is really your chance to get it, because those Q&A calls are starting very, very quickly. You can see the dates there below. We're going to jump right in. You get the 10 CD audio program. You get the DVD with more. You get the 5 live calls with me that's starting soon, plus the best of. And then all these crazy bonuses, I put them all on one page so that you can see them. And I think I still missed a few. And really, you know, make the decision that you're going to step up and clear those vows now, because we're offering you a very special deal. And again, no risk whatsoever, 60-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee. And I'm just going to take another breath, because I still want to stay in the energy of that amazing circle of people. And so I just want to honor and thank you all for being here and being part of this amazing, I guess, circle of rainbow light, of clearing and magnetizing a bigger energy. I want to thank you all for staying to the very end to be part of this amazing experience, for letting me share my special offer with you. And thank you so much for Brittany for being here, and for Alan for helping me run the energy and stay on track on this whole call. Thank you so much, Alan.
You're absolutely welcome, and it's a privilege to be with you, my friend, my teacher, my mentor, and inspiration and muse. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. I look forward to hearing your amazing voices with me on the first Q&A call, starting very quickly. So jump in, join us on the 7 Levels, clear those vows now, start creating a whole new wealth reality, and I will be with you very shortly to jump in on that first Q&A call. Bye, everybody. Bye.